Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Andrew Capel. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to an episode of the Why, Who, How podcast. Without further ado, Ben Murray.
Andrew, thanks. Great to be here.
Yeah, good to catch up. We're at usually one or two conferences or digital courses a year, so I'm glad that we're able to make some time here.
Yeah, usually we find each other on the SaaS conference circuit, so I'm sure I'll see you at some point.
Yeah. Well, Ben, why don't you give us a little bit of background on why you do what you do?
All right, so starting with the why. So my background is in finance and accounting. Got started out in the airline industry in FP&A, and then got into software in the early 2000s, and then progressed through the ranks of FP&A to SaaS CFO. Was a SaaS CFO for about 7-8 years in-house, and then for the past 5 years, now out on my own, helping SaaS companies with their finance, their metrics through my fractional services coaching. Then I have an academy where I teach SaaS finance and metrics as well.
Okay. And how was it going out on your own?
You never know. Luckily, I went out on my own a little bit different, where I had started a blog in 2016, sharing my info and what I'm learning about SaaS metrics, finance, accounting, forecasts, and would share my templates for free, and started a newsletter through my blog in 2016, kind of before newsletters, I would say, were a big thing like they are today. And, so did that while I was an in-house SaaS CFO. And then, when I went out on my own, I probably had a list of 50 or 60,000 people. So that was, so how they say is build that community and then try to monetize. So I had the community, I had the list, and then I could just say, hey, everybody, big news. I'm now offering my own services, doing fractional coaching. And then Academy actually came later, or maybe around the same time. And so that was my instant funnel to generate business.
Nice. I'm a graduate of the SaaS CFO course. How many other go-to-market people have gone through that course, Ben?
I would say through my academy, it's a lot of SaaS founders, operators, CEOs, investors, controllers, but then you do have other C-level and go-to-market leaders, CROs, CMOs, who know that they need to speak the language SaaS. Maybe they're not actually calculating the metrics themselves, but they need to speak and be fluent when they're at that executive leadership team meeting or at that board when they're talking SaaS metrics.
Nice. And you're still running that course today?
Yep. So I have my academy. I have on-demand and live courses, and still improving the course every year to help out the SaaS community.
Great. And Ben, so who are you primarily helping? And I know you have a few different offerings, so I don't know how wide the variance is of the personas and customers or community folks that you service.
Yeah, so I was actually just working on that on my landing page for my academy, where defining the personas, because I have a lot of founders who I talk to and help through coaching, fractional services, and through the academy. So one is founder CEOs, and then two is that finance persona, so CFOs, controllers, and levels beneath that, and then also the FP&A group. If you're an FP&A analyst, manager, doing the forecast, doing the metrics for your SaaS company. And then actually a lot of people who just want to break into SaaS who are new to SaaS, and they want to get that SaaS job, but they just don't speak the language. And so get a lot of requests for that. So building courses for that so you can get up to speed on that SaaS business model. And then you see a lot of, say, service providers, bookkeepers, or even fractional CFOs who also want to level up their game in SaaS finance and accounting. So there are about 4 or 5 personas that I'm helping.
Interesting. And so you have, that's for the course, and then for your fractional CFO coaching, is that mostly just SaaS founders or investors, or who are you working with there?
Yeah. So investors reach out with their portcos, but also really it's SaaS founders reaching out. They reach that pivot point where they're scaling, they're growing. They can't just do finances on a napkin, and they need a little bit more sophisticated financial structure in place. So a lot of founders, and usually that sweet spot is probably 3 to 4 million of ARR up to 20 million, where you can get a lot of good help from a fractional CFO. So yeah, I'd say almost 10 out of 10 times the founder reaching out.
Okay. And what's the typical engagement like of working with you? Do you require everyone to go through the SaaS CFO course, or are you able to do a project without that certification?
Yeah, I've had some clients who actually have gone through my academy, which helps a ton. One huge success case is I have a current client, a great business growing super fast, and they took my course a couple years ago. And in that time, they set up their chart of accounts, their GL structure perfectly. So as they came in, we didn't have to make any changes. It was so detailed, just perfectly set up for SaaS where we could then it's just a much faster onboarding of their data, getting the process flowing. So it actually does help. Not everyone does it, but in that case, they really took all that advice to heart in the course and improved their finances, so it's much easier to then onboard them.
Yeah, it's and sounds like they got a discount because it wasn't so expensive to transform and overhaul all of their what was not correct in place.
Yeah, you get up to speed faster on the strategic finance. So a lot of the founders have goals of just scaling the business bigger, or a lot of them want to fundraise or exit. So just trying to get them prepared to have the data to scale their business and also help in the due diligence process.
Sure. And what do those engagements typically look like? I'm sure that one was one that you're most proud of have going through your different courses and getting everything set up right and then doing the strategic finance. But what does a typical engagement look like?
They range because we're filling that temporary role to get them to that next stage. Either they exit, they hire a CFO. So these could be 12 to 36 months. I had one client with me for a really long time right from the beginning. Then they exited private equity. So that perfect story. So really, we're just trying to get them to that next level. Either they exit or they're ready to build out their in-house finance team. So it's not a forever thing.
Okay. And then you're still doing the or where would we send folks that are interested in the services? Maybe I'm sure to your website, but some of the other resources and content.
Yeah, so I've got a ton of content on my blog at SaaSCFO.com. So you can download my templates, get in-depth posts on SaaS metrics, on forecasting, finance, and accounting. So a ton of resources there. And they actually just launched my AI chatbot on my blog. So you can go to my site, ask SaaS metrics questions. They'll search my content so you can get those answers fast. And then have my academy at SaaSacademy.com. And that has, again, a ton of free resources, of course, paid courses, SaaS community with about 8,500 people in it. So a lot of great resources for the SaaS community at both sites.
All right. Well, yeah, there's a ton of content and getting those 50 to 60,000 people. That's why it's key to be early to the platform, and you were early to the email newsletter, I think.
Yeah, now, right, newsletters are businesses. It's such a big thing, but I just started, just winging it, winging SEO, and knew that you needed to capture emails at least. And now I've grown that. I have over 80,000 subscribers on that, 10,000 to my academy, have a SaaS community of 8,500 folks, have a head of finance community, about 400 folks. So really trying to build those communities so we can share this knowledge freely.
Yeah, you're aggregating. You're kind of putting together these pools of community folks, and then they're sharing their lessons. And yeah, it seems like a pretty good model, Ben.
Well, it's the own media, right? Versus relying on the algorithms of LinkedIn and Facebook and everything else, but really trying to push build these my own media channels to cross kind of pollinate all that content. And then, it's just a lot of fun too, just being in these communities.
Yeah. And is it just Ben, the SaaS CFO, or do you have a team?
Yeah, I have some folks helping me out on the fractional side. I have some financial analysts, and then I have a couple of VAs that do help me out. So pretty small operation people-wise, but definitely need help at this point because there's just a lot of projects going.
Awesome. So yeah, if there are folks who are maybe interested in helping, is it all just going through the website or reaching out to you on LinkedIn?
Yep. Trying to grow my following LinkedIn. So pretty active on LinkedIn. And then of course you can contact me through my blog at SaaSCFO.com, or just email me at ben@SaaSCFO.com if I can help in any way.
Awesome. We'll leave it there. Thanks, Ben, and thanks everyone for listening.
All right. Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks for checking out the show. Please follow along on YouTube, LinkedIn, and wherever you get your podcasts.